Multi-dimensional words create a multi-dimensional reality. So in the lowest dimensions, you have words like I and me, right? Which denote like possession and stuff. But I and me are first and second dimensional. Let's talk about meditation. Currently, there are 7.8 billion people on the planet. And you just happen to be here in this exact time in which this information is coming to light. Modern science says that we have in between 40 to 60,000 thoughts every day. It is nigh impossible to control them. The point of meditation is not to stop your thinking. That's where a lot of people go wrong with the concept of meditation.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words "thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words love and appreciation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Reailty Decoded. In this episode, I hope to cover the concept of self-image, negative self-image, social masks, and internal struggle, and what this means for you as a conscious human being. And from this episode, I hope that you all gain some insight on how to not be fooled by your brain's limitations, which there aren't any limitations to your brain. That's the catch. It's all in your head. Let's go exploring. Yes. Welcome, everybody. I hope you all are having a great night. I know I sure am. Yes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you all are enjoying yourself. Thank you, Repent. I am so glad that everybody is choosing to join. Can you all hear me just fine? Is my microphone, does it sound pretty good? Yeah, my old room, I know. It's a bit of nostalgia, isn't it, Lou? Yes. Hey, Gallo, how's it going? It's Gail. Oh, hey, Gail. I remember you. Yeah, my doggies were behind me, so that way you all remember Adelie, of course. So, I am so glad you all are choosing to join. I am starting to take my YouTube seriously again. So for those of you who don't know, I am an independent documentary filmmaker. I started a series called Reailty Decoded, and it's got about 54 episodes in it. It actually is what gained me my first, like 1,200 subscribers. I am so blessed that you all have decided to join me tonight because I have such a wonderful topic to talk to you about: authenticity. And more or less when I do these, this is like me talking to myself. And I'm just very, very, very blessed that you all have chosen to come and watch my stream over all of the millions of other channels that are out there. So I strongly encourage you, if you think that somebody can gain some information from this tonight, share the stream. I'm going to be on for at least 30 minutes to an hour talking about this. And as I get back into the swing of things, I will have visual graphics to be able to show you guys. I wanted to go ahead and whip up a new intro, which is what you just saw. It's a little bit of a slideshow from past Reality Decoded episodes that I've had. And for each occurring episode, I am going to whip up a new intro with different topics to talk about and all this kind of stuff. But I really hope that you all are enjoying yourselves tonight. I know I sure am, and I know that I have missed doing these. Tonight's topic is authenticity, and why it's probably one of the hardest things that you will ever do in your life is learn how to be your authentic true self. There's only one of you, I counted, okay? What first off, let's start with like the definition of authenticity. So, what is authenticity? So, authentic is something that is genuine in character and nature, and it's usually something that is set apart from everything else that there is. Like, people are authentic, okay? Authentic, the actual Webster's definition is an undisputed original, okay? Genuine in appearance and approach, and usually, like I said, there's only one of them. Like Jim Carrey is authentic. Although he plays caricatures on TV, there's only one Jim Carrey. There was only one Groucho Marx. There's only one David Lee Roth, the singer from Van Halen. There's only one Steven Tyler, the singer from Aerosmith. You kind of, one Freddie Mercury, one Elvis Presley. And the most important thing... Hey, Gail, welcome to the YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. I will be here to answer comments and stuff in just a little bit. I'm going to talk and then take a break. I'd say take a break. Talk and then answer questions, and then talk and answer questions, because I kind of want the information to be as fluid as possible. I'm going to start to cut clips out of these as well and post them onto the YouTube. So from here on out, the YouTube, you can expect it to be part reacts, part this, Reality Decoded. I owe everything to everyone who remembers how the channel started with Reality Decoded, and like I said, I made 54 episodes, and I actually have a playlist, and I will start to put that playlist in the description of the, you know, lives that we do, and in the clips and everything, so that way you can find them easily. And maybe I'll get to do interviews with people one day. That would be amazing. Again, you could see I'm in a different room now. For those of you who don't know, I no longer live at my house, and I am interim between getting my own house, which hopefully, I pray, that YouTube ends up being a complete career for me and I have some breakthrough. But I believe the only way for me to be able to actually have a career in YouTube is to go back to what I know. And that is not gaming, that's not music so much, it's talking about this specific thing right here, Reality Decoded, the brain, and how the brain works. You have to be you. There is only one of you, I've counted. So let's talk about what it actually means to be authentic first. And if my microphone's cutting out or anything, I can turn up the gain and everything, so just let me know, okay? So authenticity is being true to what's in here. Your brain is so smart, it will fool you into thinking you're dumb by creating mental barriers that don't even exist. You are the only one smart enough to fool yourself, and that's where the brain, your mind, is your own worst enemy. It actually tells us in here that the mind is our worst enemy. It will trick us, and that's why, like, faith and all that stuff is a sword against your own mind, and it will cut through the nonsense, which is why in times of trouble you have to be your authentic self. You have to, because the only way to move forward in life is to do what you know is right in your heart, okay? And it doesn't matter if you have 0 viewers, it doesn't matter if you have 1, 5, you could be talking to somebody that you don't even know, and something that you say strikes them in such a way that it just completely makes everything click. I love Kung Fu Panda, the movie. Have you guys seen Kung Fu Panda with Oogway and Shifu? When he's talking about how your mind, when it's troubled, is like cloudy, muddy water, and it's impossible to see the way forward. And only until you Let your mind come to rest, that you are actually able to see the way forward. I had a moment of realization about that today too. That movie really spoke to me, and it was amazing when Uguay was like, you have to believe. You don't have to know the how of how you're gonna do something, but it's important that you believe. And then as soon as Shifu was just like, I'll try to believe, Uguay was like, all right, I'm done, and then just disappeared into those peach tree petals, and just disappeared. That is literally self-fear and self-doubt dissipating, poof, in an instant. Whenever you finally tell yourself, I believe, I believe, I believe. And this is something that I repeat to myself on a daily basis. As soon as I wake up, I tell myself, I believe I am being my authentic self. I believe I am being my authentic self. Repeat after me. Type this in chat. I believe I am being my authentic self. I want to see you guys type that in chat. And Lou, you're right. He said on Pawn Stars, they have to bring in a validator, somebody who can verify the authenticity of something. You will never guess or even know your true worth until you start being the real you. Okay? So how do you define what the real you means? Well, I look at it from a programmer's perspective. You have classes and you have methods. Classes are like your nouns when you're speaking the English language. It is the people. A person is a class. Nick, I am a conjuncture of that class. I am a person. Now, what people like dog? A dog is a class. It is the noun, and then the verbs are the methods, the thing that you do. The thing like a person eats, a person sleeps, a person dreams, a person is awake or asleep, a person grieves, a person cries, a person walks, a person talks, runs, sprints, whatever you want to say. You are not the methods. You are not what you do. You are what defines you as a class. What is a person? A person is authentic. A person is true to themselves. A person walks by faith. A person is kind-hearted. It is what you are. You are non-judgmental. You are precise in your motives. You know what it is that you want out of life. And there's only one way to move forward in life. Okay, so have you guys ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's a part in there that is completely relevant to what we're talking about right now. Walking the faith of authenticity, the path of faith. So if you remember, Indy is standing on either side of this huge crevice, and seemingly when he looks down, it's just blackness, nothing, and it's just a huge, like two cliffs. And Indy, the first step he makes, he kind of like closes his eyes, puts his foot out, and then just like takes a leap of faith, okay? That right there, excuse me for itching my nose, somebody's thinking about me. Taking the leap of faith on your authenticity is the only way, and it's a blind leap. That's the funny thing, is it's a blind leap of faith. You leap into what you know your calling is, and you know what your calling is when you start to live by your authenticity. Like, take me for instance. I know that I am music. Music is just something that comes out of me. I can whistle a new melody. I can think of something and just like write it out. Okay, but there's many things that I'm good at, but I realized that all in all, I am a farmer. I cultivate things. I know how to really cultivate people, like plant seeds in people's head. I know how to cultivate ideas. I know how to inspire people. You know, I know how to do things that take a long time to see the fruits of the happening. Okay? And whether you are a farmer as well, or you are just good at, you know, the one particular thing, is a choice you have to make, and only you. You have to decide whether you want to be extremely good at one path, or if you want to be extremely good at all the paths that you do. And either way, it's going to take a very long time. But authenticity verifies through integrity. it's really, really hard. It's like the hardest thing I have. It took me 33 years to finally wake up to this. I just woke up to this and was just like, you know what? I owe you all a great service by starting this Reality Decoded, and I took a major detour by thinking I needed to follow trends or follow what the crowd was doing, when instead of filling a need, I realized I needed to I needed to be the created niche. Let me repeat that. This is the most important part of your authenticity. Instead of filling a need, you need to create a needed niche. And that comes through identifying what you're good at, which is through being your authentic self. And you can only do that when you start to live true to yourself. And that's right, Lou, you have to tell your head to kind of piss off, because your head will trick you into thinking, I don't want to do that. Lack of self-discipline is a major factor in people's inability to be authentic to themselves. And let me be an inspiration to you guys and tell you that it gets easier to be authentic. When you learn how to tell this to kind of take a back seat to what your heart really wants and what your heart truly desires, man, there is nothing you can't do. And to live your authentic self, you have to dive deep into your cultivation of discipline, self-action, which means like you have to call yourself, I know I have to do this, and through discipline you are able to do the things that you have to do. Like, you know you have to drink water every day. You know that you should at least exercise for 20 minutes every day, even if it's doing 10 to 15 push-ups and like 2 pull-ups. Look, something is better than nothing, and it's the same rule with your authenticity. Being true to yourself, something is better than nothing, which most people will do nothing. Do not follow the crowd. That is rule number 3, or rule number 2. I think we're on rule number 2. Rule number 1 is learn how to be authentic, which means you identify the things that you love from here, not the things that you feel you're good at from here. So that's rule number 1. I wish I had splash images to put up here. Rule number 2 is learn to cultivate your self-discipline. Tell your mind to take a backseat to what's in your heart. Like, you all have seen me put myself out on a limb by playing guitar on stream, playing piano on stream. Even though I'm not the greatest, I'm still doing it. Because I feel that a lot of people only show you a perfected product, and to me it's a lot more interesting to see the mistakes. Like, for God's sakes, look, there was only one Mozart. I had this revelation the other day. There was only one Mozart. And in order to be as good as Mozart, you have had to have played as long as Mozart and had the training and conditioning that Mozart had without the lack of distractions that Mozart had. And that's not going to happen. So you might as well just put that by the wayside. And I don't give a shit how talented or cultivated you think you are not going to be Mozart. He already was, is, and will be, and there ain't another one. You know, there was only one Elvis. You've got to be you. You on the other side of this camera. And I cannot wait to get to learn all of you guys. Junior Sosa, yeah, post all your progress videos. That's awesome. And see, I love that. I love that you put yourself out there to the right people, because that right there is being authentic to yourself, okay? That's what it takes. Courage. That's rule number 4. Courage. Do you know what... Here's a fun little fact. My name, Nicholas, actually means courage in the face of battle and adversity. Courage. C-O-U-R-A-G-E. It is the easiest and simplest word that you will ever come to understand. Courage just means doing the right thing and having the strength of character to put this aside to do this. From discipline, it's a combination of things. Courage is the combination of acting through discipline towards your goals. That's courage. That's all courage. That's awesome. Rosa says his lives are all of him practicing his original music only. Dude, that's awesome. I would love to hear y'all's music, man. So, courage is discipline cultivated through doing what you know is right here and putting this by the wayside. And see, we can take Goku from Dragon Ball Z as an example of that. Goku, what we think is a naive child, sort of man, child, whatever, Goku is like the epitome of courage, because Goku, his instincts are courageous. He knows he is a protector. He knows that it's his job to fight for the weaker man or weaker woman. And see, that's always been my thing too, is I protect the small. You know, that's why I started weightlifting. That's why I wrestled and I became a good fighter, because I didn't want to fight people. It was to be able to know how to defend myself and defend the things that I cared about here. My mom, who was small from people, let's just say that, and my family, and people who couldn't speak up for themselves because they hadn't tapped into the courage that they have, or the self-discipline that they have to become what I like to call, which is rule number 5, what I call self-actualization. Self-actualization. So do you know what an actuator is, the machine? I'll give somebody $1 if they can tell me what an actuator is. I bet you Josh can. But we'll just go ahead and whoever gets this gets a free channel membership. If you can tell me what an actuator, the machine is, you win a free channel membership to the YouTube. So, little drinky poo. You there, Randy? Hold on. So an actuator actuates. It is something that moves something or does something. Like it could be a machine that has a rod that moves the rod from 10 degrees to 30 degrees, just choop, 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 back and forth. That's all it does. It just actuates something into a position or into a location. It doesn't matter. So to self-actualize, what do you think that means? It means being able, through your discipline, with courage, put yourself in where you know you should be. Boom. Boom. Rules for success, okay? Rules for success. And this isn't just about being a man or being a woman or any of that kind of stuff. It literally is rules of being a human being. Okay, so I'm actually going to type the rules into chat. So we got rules to win at life. All right, rule number 1, we said was, can anybody tell me? Rule number 2 is discipline. Authenticity, that's right. Authenticity. Rule number 2, self-discipline, or just discipline in general. Discipline. Rule number 3, courage. Rule number 4, what was rule number 4? Can anybody tell me what rule number 4 was? It's not self-actualizing, that's rule number 5. You know what? What was rule number 4? Maybe I should back up the video. Sometimes I'm speaking from spirit, I can't exactly remember what was said. I think it was figure out what you're passionate about. Passion. And then rule number 5, self-actualize. ACT. Yes. Actualization. There we go. There we go. Alright. So that's the 5 rules. I'm sure that there's more, but those are more like subcategories. Rule number 4 might not have been passion. I think it was something different. But that's okay, because passion is a really good one. You have to identify your passions through your courage with discipline to find your authentic self. You see how all these rules play together to form, to do what I call looming the quilt of your life? Alright, so there's a song that I'm writing called The Quantum Loom, and I actually can't wait to continue writing this music. I am so happy that I'm getting back to doing this kind of stuff. The term multiverse is based in fiction, but I always ponder the question if there is a multiverse out there in the alternate dimension. Yes, there is, Lou, and it is the multi-worlds theory. There is a version of you that exists for every single possible outcome and choice, excuse me, that you have ever made or will make in your life. There is an alternate universe, and you can actually tap into that stuff. Yes, desire and passion are the same thing, brother. That's it. Through your desires, with courage, to self-actualize yourself, to put yourself where you need to be from where you're not, or from where you are to where you need to be. That's called self-actualization. So through self-actualization, because of your passions, you know where you're supposed to be. You know deep down inside what you're supposed to be doing. A lot of us just don't have the courage to do it, okay? Through self-actualization, realizing what you want out of life because of your passions, and with courage and discipline, you become this beautiful lotus flower, your authentic self, and there is only one way to do that. So I guess there's a sixth rule. Rule number 6, honesty. Honesty. You have to be honest. You have to be honest. Most people literally, they walk around life like drones. Just black-jawed Neanderthals, okay, just, and they're drones. These people don't know or weren't raised in the right type of environment in order to cultivate the life that they know that they need, okay? And a lot of people aren't even, it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with they're not smart enough. They are definitely smart and capable enough. Higanbana. No, I have not. What is that, Lou? Have I ever heard of the word Higanbana? Higanbana. I have not. Educate me, sir. But through your honesty, you can identify whether on a scale of 1 to 10, how close you are to your authentic self. And only through self-reflection does your honesty become apparent. And what's funny is that word, apparent. Apparent. I wish that there was like a test that people could take to become parents, and one of them would be integrity and honesty, okay? I love Kurt Angle when he's got the 3 I's: intelligence, integrity, and intensity, because that's what it takes to be your authentic self, you know? And even if you're just speaking to one person out there, you can change this person's life through your own testimony. And that's rule number 7, is testimony. You have to know where you've been in order to see where you're going. Life, I call it the black ocean, or the dark ocean, whatever you want to call it. We are all in a relationship with ourselves, and it's a ship because we're sailing in this endless ocean void. There's no destination unless you set one, but there's also no land for you to gauge where you've been. Only through the introspection that you have done and the honesty you have in your life will you know the trajectory towards your goals. And with discipline, you can course correct to be back on course. Because like I said, there's no destination unless you set goals, which is rule number 8. Set goals. Because your life is literally meaningless without setting goals. It means Japanese spider lily. Its petals have sides to it, so it's so beautiful that people get, oh, that's cool. It gives people goodwill. That's awesome. Higanbana. I'm gonna look into that, Lou. That's awesome. Higanbana. I love that. I love that. And I really hope that these, I'm going to start doing a lot of these, and unfortunately, the next couple episodes over this weekend are going to be done from my phone, so there's going to be no editing to them. I have to go and watch my grandmother's house this weekend. I'm still on medicine for this car accident that I was in, and I am going to be watching her house and checking out, taking care of both my dad and my dogs, but I'll still be doing lives on my phone. They just won't be as impressive as this one. And then as soon as I get back on Tuesday, I'll be doing lives like this pretty much every single day. And I'm going to choose a different topic. Unless the topic is so vast, we have to continue talking about the topic. So we'll see. So I want to talk about ways of how to start being authentic to yourself. And the first way is through the honesty of knowing what you want, and without being rude and callous, or callow, if you know what that word means. Callow is being uncaring towards other people's needs as well. You know, without being rude or callous, you have to start speaking your truth. I don't like the way that you talk to me. I don't like the way that you lie to me for no reason when you don't trust me enough to not get mad. That's a really, really, really big one. there's also this inner voice, and I know that that's so cliche to talk about, but there is this guiding heartbeat that we all have, which is integrity, really. I've come to figure out that your intuition is integrity. It's knowing where you should be, and then you have to have the courage in order to respond to that impulse. And I don't like to call it impulse, because impulse is often negatively connotative, because people are just like, impulse buying and all that kind of stuff. No. Impulse is like this feeling of belonging somewhere, and then in order to go there, that's following your intuition. Like, I had the impulse from my intuition to bring back Reailty Decoded tonight. And to be honest, this is so much more interesting to me than playing any fucking video game and like doing anything else. This is my passion. I am a bit of a motivational speaker, and I love to talk to you all about the brain because I have studied this for like 22 years now. I found out about meditation when I was 11, when I went to military school the first time. Thank you to my roommate's dad for that. Another episode that we're going to do is mindfulness. I think that's going to be the next episode that I talk about. And this episode, since I'm a bit rusty, I wanted to have some cues to be able to talk about. But a lot of this, I don't write this stuff down. I speak to you from experience. Testimony. That's what rule number 4 was. Rule number 4 is testimony. Da-da-da! Here we go. So we're going to make rule number 4 testimony. And then we're going to make rule number, let's see, rule number 6. All right, I'm glad I remembered. Honesty. Rule number 6 is honesty. Rule number 7 is integrity. And then rule number 8 is set goals. Yeah, that's it. All right. That's right. Hey, Shadowcaster. What's up, brother? Thank you so much for joining on Twitch. Yeah, we're live on YouTube and Twitch, and you guys are allowed to watch on any of them. It says it comes when you move forward. That's so right. You get started, then the real comes. That's so right. You know the saying, seeing is believing? It's not seeing is believing. It is believe that you will see. That is exactly right. Lou says a couple of years ago he was being kind of an asshat to his closest friends in the past. He stopped himself and turned his course around in his head, and he made amends to them, and he never wants... Dude, that's the greatest thing that you could ever do, is apologize in authenticity. It's so funny you say that. My dad had an extremely, eerily similar experience to a friend of his, and my dad went to the guy and apologized to him for something that happened to them in the past, and wanted to make sure that this other guy didn't think my dad was trying to put the moves on some girl. And the other guy was just like, dude, I haven't thought about that in 20 years. And my dad said that it was like this weight just lifted off of his chest. And I'm so proud of you, Lou, just like I'm so proud of all of you for wanting to listen to this podcast and to learn more about yourself. Okay, we all, just like a computer, have a certain depth of RAM, like the memory that we can access, and through things like therapy and being in nature and like true authenticity, we can start to build the bridges to heal from that kind of stuff. And when you live, like just like Shadow said, when you live in your authentic self, it's gonna cause a wake. All right, just like a ship sailing forward, it's going to cause a wake, and it's going to cause some waves for some people. But look, I'm going to tell you something that my grandmother told me that is the most important thing I have ever heard in my life. To make an omelet, you have to crack some eggs. You cannot walk on eggshells around people. Tell those people to piss off. Because if you have to walk on eggshells for anyone, sister, brother, mother, father, cousin, auntie, friends, if you have to literally groom yourself to be able to be around those people are not supposed to be in your life. It's like a rose with no thorns. It's like flowers with dead bulbs. You have to prune it. And to prune that is discipline. Okay, it's literally authentic discipline, and you have to prune these dead spots out of your life. And that comes from integrity, knowing you deserve better, knowing your life should be better, knowing you have to make an omelet because you got to eat, baby. Just like all of you are my babies. And I'm not calling you a baby, I'm calling you my children. In essence, that's right, Shadow. He says, if they leave your real self, then they did not belong. That is so right. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall that doesn't stick. It's not somebody you break bread with. Now, in essence, we're supposed to love our neighbor and love our enemy and all this kind of stuff, which is perfectly fine. But that doesn't mean that I gotta like you. Because I fucking don't. And I'll tell you straight to your face, I don't fucking like you, but I love you. I've told that to my dad. I've told that to my mom, God rest her soul. You know, it's like, I love you. I still will always have love for you, but the way that you treat me and all this kind of stuff is not right. And you have to stick up for yourself. It's the demon. What's up, brother? I'm assuming that's Zach. Yeah, or hang out. They did not belong. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because idiot. Another really good saying that my granddad taught me. He was a master sergeant in the army. God rest his soul. He was a great man. He said, do not. Well, he said two things. He said, do you know what you get when you argue with an idiot? Two idiots. So, if you argue with an idiot, they will drag you down and beat you with experience. So you have to change your heart. That's right, Lou. You have to ultimately tell yourself every day, type this in chat again, I am living in my heart as my authentic self. I am living from my heart as my authentic self. You have to repeat this to yourself every day. And not like a teacher to give you homework, but I'm going to give you guys some homework. When you wake up and when you go to sleep every day for the next week, I want you to try this for me, okay, my babies? I want you to tell yourself, I am living from my heart as my authentic self. And just repeat it over and over, 3 to 5 times, just anytime you think about it. I am living from my heart as my authentic self. I am living from my heart as my authentic self. I am living from my heart as my authentic self. And I figured out that the more that you say it, the more inflection you put on it, which is an emotional connection that you have to the truth. Because there is a truth and a will and a strength of indomitable character that exists within all of us, but it only comes out when you put this aside, when you put these mental barriers aside and start to speak the truth. If you know something is shit, you call it a turd, okay? And you can't polish shit. Just like you can't put lipstick on a pig and call it Miss America. It's bullshit. Oh, don't worry, all that stuff is gonna come back, man. This is a temporary holding space while I get my new room. And, you know, that's only gonna be possible through you guys. And, you know, when I keep authenticating myself through YouTube and through these lives, this is going to earn me a viable income. I love this, and I love you guys, and I'm so glad that I started to do this again. And I missed doing Reality Decodeds, and there is nothing on this earth I would rather be doing than playing music for you all and doing these Reality Decodeds and doing reacts. So, I will be back doing the reacts and stuff full time. I will be in my own home soon. I don't know how, but you don't have to be concerned with the how. That's the beauty of manifestation. That's the beauty of being authentic to yourself. When you start to live authentically from your heart, everything just falls into place. God wants to give us this stuff, but only until you say, I believe in me. From here. It has to be from here. It can't be from here. It can't be from the ego. It can't be from strife. It can't be trying to escape pain. It has to be from authentic love. I believe in me. I am going where I need to be. I am getting a house soon. And just like me having the car accident last week, you know, I feel great today. I feel like I can actually flex. I did push-ups. I exercised today. I played guitar. I picked up my dog. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the doggo's back there. She's still beautiful as ever. She is damn near regrown, like, all of her hair. And, you know, all these good stuff. Oh, dude, Shadow says on his YouTube videos that he used my music on has done well. Thank you for... Dude, you're so welcome, my friend. Do you need... I also have the ASMR channel in case you need that kind of music as well, and you're welcome to use all that. I don't put copyrights on people's stuff, okay? And if you ever get a copyright from any of the music, let me know, and I will issue you your own license. That does not bother me at all. Like, I don't put copyrights on my stuff. Some stuff through the record label has copyrights on it, but I am the sole proprietor and am able to issue you a copyright permit for that stuff. So just let me know, okay? Please, I encourage that. Have I ever thought about bringing back tarot? Coincidentally, I don't need the tarot cards. I intuitively can do that. I realized that I never needed the tarot. I actually have given away my tarot cards to people who I felt needed them, and decided that, you know, it's better to just kind of be authentic, because tarot is just a medium for what's already in here in the first place. Okay? It's inside of you already. It truly is. You don't need tarot. Tarot, like I said, is just a medium in order for you to kind of feel easier what's in your intuition. You trust it because it's like, oh, there it is, so it must be right. When you really perform tarot or spiritual guidance the right way, you don't need a medium in order to speak a truth. It is, you know what I mean? Oh, that's awesome, Zach. He said since the last time we spoke, he went and met his birth family. How did that go? How did that go? I hope it went well. I really do. And thank you, Shadow. You're awesome too, man. So being authentic also means that you have to make the decisions intuitively that align with your self-values and your beliefs. If you know that somebody is a piece of shit, you don't even have to give them the time of day. That's the beautiful part about it. You are allowed to, you have the right to reserve or refuse service to anyone like a restaurant, okay? You are the only one, the proprietor in your life. You are the only one who can actually do the things that you know are authentic in here. And that comes from making the decisions that some people are like cancer. And you just have to cut that tumor out. Just cut it out, man. Cut it out. Cut it out. So you have to learn how to follow your intuition and make these decisions that there are just some people who do not even deserve to look at you. And there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Okay? You have to make these decisions that align with your self-values and your beliefs. If you believe that somebody is no good, then let it be. Let it be. That's right. So Good Will Hunting is a great movie, because Will Hunting is actually a perfect example of somebody who he had an alcoholic, abusive father, and, you know, Robin Williams' character at one point, the greatest scene in that whole movie, spoilers, is when Robin just kind of walks up to him and is like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Okay, so that is also a form of integrity, is understanding that the things that happen to us from other people who are also damaged, that's not our fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not. The only things that are our fault are the authentic choices and decisions that we make in life. The actions that we perceive, all of that. That's our fault. And it's also our fault, the emotional consequences of our actions, which is why it's so important to act from your intuition, because if you are just callously out there wreaking havoc, okay, not worrying about, like I said, the emotional consequences of your actions, that is your fault. If you are the drunk, abusive father, you better quit that shit. Because there's going to be a big dog coming around one day who's going to knock that shit out of you. So that's one of the important things about life is you have to understand emotional consequence. And that includes saying something to somebody about somebody else that you think they'll never hear. Even if they don't hear it, it's just like those words have an emotional consequence on that person who might love this other person that you're talking shit about. That's a huge thing. That is authenticity and integrity. You know, character is defined by what you do when you know nobody is looking or will ever find out. This is why one of my favorite things about character is the litmus test that comes from putting your grocery cart away whenever you put that shit back. I can tell a lot about a person just by sitting in a Walmart parking lot. I can tell everything there is to know just by reading you because it's written on your forehead. You know, piece of shit, liar, bullshitter. Okay, you can tell a lot about a person written on their forehead. Truthsayer, soothsayer, just any of that kind of stuff, okay? If you take the time to sit and listen, people will tell you everything that you need to know. And there's one thing that I learned from being in a place where no human being belongs, is that people, given enough time to talk, will literally tell on themselves. That's why they say it's so important to listen. Listen. Learn how to listen. Learn how to listen. Zach says one of his birth brothers is actually named Nick. It's a great name, and it went well with his mom. He's actually a Wiccan, and we talked about how in my family there's a bloodline of Native American shamans, which I think is awesome. That's awesome, dude. That's so cool. Being authentic to your nature and your bloodline and honoring your ancestors is another one of my rules. Learn where you come from so that way you can break these generational curses. I don't think people actually understand what it means to break generational curses, okay? That means that if your dad is an emotional outburster, just somebody who just, okay, instead of imbibing the information and just, and just thinking and taking time to actually think and formulate a response based on emotions rather than reactions, okay? An emotional outburster is somebody who's never gonna get anywhere in life because they're just sitting there just digging and they're just throwing dirt on you. Don't associate with those people because that's what I was talking about earlier with arguing with an idiot, because they'll drag you down and beat you with experience every single time. Every single time they'll drag you down and beat you with experience. Follow your intuition. So let's recap. We have our 8 rules so far. This is fun. I'm having so much fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this too. Alright, so we have 8 rules, and here it is. Actually, we got 9 rules now. Alright, so we have 8 is set goals, 9 is honor your ancestors, and then rule number 10 is think first. I like that. Alright, so we're up to 10 rules, okay? And these are good rules. And I say rules as a very loose term, just more like guidelines, okay? More like guidelines. And you don't have to follow all of these at the same time. But these are just the rules that I have come up with that makes you what I call an honorable gentleman or an honorable lady. Alright? Baron, if you will. So rule number 1, authenticity, which is the most important rule that you could ever have, is learning how to respond to your self-values. I like this. I don't like that. And the number 1 that I've ever had to figure out is telling somebody, I don't like the way that you're talking to me right now. Can you not do that? And then number 2 is discipline. Okay, number 2 is discipline. Number 3, courage. Courage through discipline to become authentic. Number 4 is your testimony, because everybody, I believe everybody has a testimony, has a story to tell. Okay, period. Number 5, self-actualization. Self-actualization comes from knowing where you should be through your intuition and getting there. Having the discipline and the courage to know that you need to get a job, or that you need to be authentic to yourself, or speak from spirit, or tell somebody they're fucking up. Just any of that kind of stuff, okay? Number 6, honesty. When you are honest with yourself, honestly, good things will happen to you. And like the rain, everything will fall into place. And what does the rain bring? Flowers, growth. It hurts. Growth hurts because the seed capsule is popping open and you are having to travel through the dirt. If you remember Kill Bill, when she was literally digging herself out of the grave, that's courage, testimony, and self-actualization. Okay? Such a great movie. If you haven't seen Kill Bill in a while, go check that shit out. Number 6, honesty. Be honest with yourself. Okay? And being honest with yourself, you have to remember, is telling yourself, I love you, self. I love you. I love you enough to do these things that I don't like, per se, like exercising, or eating properly, or drinking water, which I can't really say because I'm drinking Mountain Dew at the moment. I like that, Shadow. Everyone is better at least one thing than I am. That's exactly right, dude. There is somebody out there who is always going to be better at you than something. But there is nobody on this earth who will ever be better at being you except you. Period. You can take that to the bank. There might be somebody on the earth who's better at something that you do, but there is nobody on earth better at being you. I love you guys, and I love you enough to tell you this kind of stuff. And you can expect, like I said, the lives to be like this from now on, because this is me being authentic to myself. I love helping people, and I love having real conversations about this kind of stuff. And like I said, this is how I built my YouTube to begin with. I love it. Number 7, integrity. Integrity! Integrity is doing the right thing even though you know nobody will ever find out. Remember integrity via the litmus test with the shopping cart. If you can put your own shopping cart away, you have integrity. If you help old people, if you take showers every day and brush your teeth, if you do the things that you have to do to take care of yourself, that's integrity. Integrity, doing the right thing even though you know nobody will ever know. When you cut your toenails, when you groom yourself, when you go to that meeting that you don't want to go, when your boss calls you into the office, says, come here, I need to talk to you, and you do it with a smile on your face, that's integrity. I'm not talking about going above and beyond. No, you should never really have to go above and beyond unless you're doing something for your own integrity, or unless you're getting paid extra, okay? Don't ever do something above and beyond unless you're getting paid above and beyond, okay? That's my rule of life. So, through integrity is doing something, the right thing, when you know nobody will ever find out except you and God. Period. Period, bar none, done, okay? And you know, showering twice a week is still fine because you're still keeping yourself clean. So, 8, set goals. Life is not supposed to be meaningless. It is supposed to be full of meaning, but only you can set it. There's a really cool saying I came up with that you are the army, the cavalry, the general, and the artillery of your own life. There is nobody else who is ever going to come and save you. Your daddy can't save you. Your mama can't save you. Your sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, friends. Nobody can save you except you. Okay? And you will save yourself. There's no chat box, but you will save yourself through these rules. Okay? Number 9. Knowing where your family comes from, honoring your ancestors. Like, all of my ancestors were farmers. So that's why I have ultimately come to realize that that's why I'm so good at many different things, is because I am a farmer. I know how to have the patience and wherewithal to be able to plant seeds and then every day water these seeds, okay, and then to eventually just kind of check back and then be like, oh, it's growing. Cool, there's a sprout. That's beautiful. I love that. That's right, Lou. You set up the future in your mind. But that's also kind of why I believe that manifestation is wrong. Because if you go to the gym every single day, and then like every day you're looking and you're just like, you don't see growth every single day. It takes a long time to see growth, honestly. That's how farmers watch their crops. They don't go, grow, God bless it, America. They sit on their heels and they lean up against the fence and they go, hey, how you doing? You know, oh, there's something. That's what they do, okay? They do the things that they know work, and they cultivate it with water and fertilizer and stuff. Fertilizer is like practice. Like, take me playing piano and guitar, for instance. The fertilizer that I give myself is watching tutorials, practicing every day. The water is the practice that I do every single day. But in 6 months' time, I can look back and just be like, holy shit, I can play Pokebell's Canon indeed. You know what I'm saying? Or I can play the Elite Four theme from Pokemon. It takes time to cultivate. So that's rule number 11, is seek cultivation. All right? That's rule number 11. Seek cultivation. So, honoring your ancestors, you find out where you come from, because understanding your genetics is a really viable way to not only, like, set goals for yourself and break generational curses, but it's to figure out what you're good at. If you don't know what your life's purpose is, find out what your ancestors were good at. I'm like 5th generation tree farmers, you know? And then number 10 is think first. Think first. Think first. That is probably one of the most important rules. Think first, then respond. And I cannot tell you how many people in my life are bad about over talking. They'll beat you to the period. You know, they think they know what you're gonna say, when in reality they have no fucking idea the direction that you're gonna take it, okay? So think first. Do yourself a favor. Think first. And think slow! You know? Don't be the guy who's just like real quick, because quickness begets mistakes, and mistakes destroy your character because people think, oh, he's reckless. Don't do that either. Don't be reckless. And then 11, and finally, the final rule for this whole lecture, and we're right at 1 hour, and I don't want to like take up too much of y'all's time tonight. This has been, oh, good job, girl. This has been one of the greatest episodes that I've ever done, I think, on live, and I'm actually going to go back and rewatch this to find ways to improve this, is seek cultivation. Find out what your water is. My water is daily practice. Okay, daily practice on my instruments, daily practice on speaking to myself in the mirror, that way I don't stumble over words, because with my traumatic brain injury I had, sometimes I stumble over words, which is why it's so easier for me to just wing it and speak from spirit, because like all the information is there, but if I think about it, that's when I stumble over my feet and I trip. Okay, the information is there. The knowledge is there. The growth is there. Water your crops every day, okay, with your practice or just whatever method that is an everyday thing. And then the fertilizer is the extra knowledge that you pay for, like when you take piano lessons or you take writing lessons for like calligraphy or art lessons for painting. Get fertilizer. Fertilizer is really important. The fertilizer is not nearly as important as everyday water and cultivation. And that's the first 11 rules that I have for life, of not only being a man or being a woman, but just being a genuine, authentic human being in the first place, okay? And learn to write your book. Learn to write your book. Everybody has a story to tell because of their testimony, okay? And I'm actually going to put this on the... Oh, I can't leave a comment yet, but that's okay. I'm going to put this in the actual YouTube chat. Not chat, but as a comment on this. That's like the 11 rules that we discussed are these. Bam! And I'm going to start doing this for all of them. So, I love you guys. Let's leave the floor open for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I can answer some questions. And if you guys have any future topics that you want me to talk about, now's the time to tell me. And feedback for this episode. What did you guys think? 1 hour? I think that that's pretty good at, you know, not taking up too much time. 1 hour is a long time if you think about it. It's like longer than a class in college. I know, fancy. But there's a bunch of people on YouTube in case you wanted to come and join. And I just got finished doing like an hour. So you can rewatch the whole episode. I'm so happy to be back. I really am. And just a friendly reminder that the episodes tomorrow through Tuesday will be on the phone. So they won't have the little this and other things, but I'm still going to be doing episodes, okay? So be on the lookout. And if you like this, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that way you get ding ding when I post new videos too, because I'm actually starting to post more than ever. I am only doing lives to TikTok because I've got 80,000 followers on there and it barely gets 50 views a video. So literally, and it doesn't even earn me any income. The Creator Marketplace, I had a 5.8 million viewed video that earned me $18. That same video on YouTube, if it would have earned me 5.5 million views, it would have been like $20,000. I'm not wasting my time anymore. Oh, that's the 12th rule. Know your worth. Okay? Know your worth. That's the last rule. Know your worth. Period. Okay? And if anybody ever wanted like one-on-one chats, I'm all for that. We'll book a time. That'd be no big deal. I have Discord. I have a couple of different ways that we can get in touch. But yes, this is what the future of the channel is going to be like, with react episodes and clips of this kind of stuff. So, okay. Did I already do Harry Mack polyrhythms? I don't remember. I'll have to check. But if I haven't, that'd be a good one. Leave it as a comment, okay? And so that way I don't forget. Because sometimes when I go back and rewatch the episode, oh, dude, you're awesome, Fancy. I appreciate you too. I said this at the very beginning. Even if you're speaking to one person, make it worthwhile, because that one person can change even your life. So I appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much for your follow. Yeah, please do check it out. Because if I did do polyrhythms, I know that that's on the list. I might not have gotten to it because, like, the fire happened. I can't remember. But definitely, I'll do it for sure. But like I said, tomorrow through Tuesday, I'm watching my grandma's house, and I won't have my PC, and I'll be on, like, Xfinity Wi-Fi, so I'll be recording these lives outside, and they won't be as long. I might do, like, 20-minute long lives and stuff, but I'll make it worthwhile, I promise. Yeah. Yeah. So, I appreciate you guys. It's a quicker one, too. Oh, nice, nice. I do feel like I did that one, though. Because I remember the polyrhythms. And somehow we went from 274 to 268. That's funny. My YouTube has been so up and down lately. I have no idea what's going on with it. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not in this for the views. I'm not in this for the fame or the fortune, although I would love to earn an honest income doing this stuff. I'm doing this because I truly, authentically want to help people and bring back Reailty Decoded. Whatever good comes from me being my honest self, yay! But I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I give a major shit about y'all, though. I give all the shits about y'all. Here we go. Harry Mack. Okay. I did crazy cadences, too many flows, Omegle bars 18. I love you, bro. Oh yeah, Omegle bar 64, break your neck. Okay, so I might not have done. Okay, so polyrhythms I haven't done yet. That must have been the one before the fire. I gotcha. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I know I've got like crazy rhythms. The Busta Rhymes one, that was a lot of fun. Okay, Fancy, we'll see you later, friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, yes. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and replay the intro. I appreciate you all. I really, really, really do. And I look forward to each of these episodes that we get to do. And tell your friends, share the episodes. I'll be actually clipping some of these with parts. That way you guys can share those too, you know. But I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow night. Multidimensional words create a multidimensional reality. So in the lowest dimensions, you have words like I and me, right? Which denote like possession and stuff. But I and me are first and second dimensional. Let's talk about meditation. Currently, there are 7.8 billion people on the planet. And you just happen to be here in this exact time in which this information is coming to light. Modern science says that we have in between 40 to 60,000 thoughts every day. It is nigh impossible to control them. The point of meditation is not to stop your thinking. That's where a lot of people go wrong with the concept of meditation.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words "thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words love and appreciation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Reailty Decoded. In this episode, I hope to cover the concept of self-image, negative self-image, social masks, and internal struggle, and what this means for you as a conscious human being. And from this episode, I hope that you all gain some insight on how to not be fooled by your brain's limitations, which there aren't any limitations to your brain. That's the catch. It's all in your head. Let's go exploring.